Chicago, Illinois, I'm looking for the crime. Actually, can I just tell you, I mean, just as a visitor to Chicago, it's a beautiful city, honestly, and it's got so much wonderful architecture. My goodness, I really do enjoy it. It doesn't have the best pizza. That'd be New York, of course, but, you know, whatever. They tried. Welcome back, everybody, to American Sunrise. I'm David Brody. All right, the Trump administration announced a major victory on our efforts to stop illegals from pouring into our country. The Department of Homeland Security posted this on X. They said this: for the first time in over 5 decades, the United States is on track to see negative net migration. The foreign-born population has declined by 2.2 million this year, which includes the 1.6 million illegal aliens who have voluntarily self-deported and 555,000 deportations. In other words, folks, more illegal immigrants are leaving America than coming here. DHS is also using these efforts to ramp up their ICE recruiting efforts as well. For more, let's bring in the Assistant Director of External and Legislative Affairs for the Office of National Drug Control Policy. He's also a former ICE supervisory special agent. That would be Victor Avila. Victor, thanks for being here. You know, I tell you what, I just miss those days of Kamala Harris as the border czar. Don't you?
Well, I tell you what, I was just with Tom Homan a couple of days ago, and I'm just so proud of the efforts that are being conducted under this administration, both on the illegal immigration side and, of course, combating drugs. And I know you want to talk a little bit about Tom Homan visiting the northern border, and that's something that we are very, very focused on because there's a lot of activity up there with cocaine, fentanyl, methamphetamine, cross-border between the U.S. and Canada. So I'm so glad that he's going to focus up there as well.
Victor, the Trump administration announced it carried out 2 more strikes against suspected drug boats. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth posted on X, these vessels were known by our intelligence to be associated with illicit narcotics smuggling. They were carrying narcotics and were transiting along a known narco-trafficking transit route in the Eastern Pacific. Both strikes were conducted in international waters, and 3 male narco-terrorists were aboard each vessel. All 6 were killed. No U.S. forces were harmed. Under President Trump, we're protecting the homeland, he said, and killing these cartel terrorists who wish to harm our country and its people. The administration has destroyed at least 20 vessels so far. What does this mean, though? I saw Tom Homan, was it last night or the night before he was here, and talked to him for a while about this. And he was saying that this will indeed make, because my question all along has been, will this make a dent? How long will it take to make a dent in what average Americans are experiencing in terms of drugs on the street, in terms of fentanyl deaths, those kinds of things? So talk to us about what this actually means for the American people.
That's a great question because it will eventually make a dent. It doesn't right away because of the amounts of, in this case, cocaine coming into the country. And I'll put it to you this way. Sometimes when you see these large number of interdictions of seizures, if you will, because that's really effectively what this is, it means that there's a lot out there. When there's a lot to get, that means that there's a lot coming in. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're grabbing all of it. However, because of these types of interdictions that are happening way out there, way away from our border, which is where we want them to happen, by the way. We don't want them to be at our southern border anymore. It's eventually going to make a big difference on the price of the drugs on the street and, of course, the availability. And what we're trying to do here at ONDCP is save lives by not having the cocaine laced with fentanyl, which is the #1 killer right now, and marijuana laced with fentanyl. It's not just fentanyl alone anymore that is killing Americans. So all of this in combating with not just the interdiction, the southern border as secure as it is, education programs within the United States, all of that collaborative effort with the Department of War, DHS, ONDCP, then you're going to start seeing a big difference. But of course, it's going to take a little bit of time.
Victor, at the top of our segment, you mentioned Tom Homan going up to the northern border. So I want to take a bit of a deeper dive into this headline, which says border czar Tom Homan plans North Dakota visit in early December. Talk about some of the problems at the northern border. And why do you think so much of the public focus is the southern border and not necessarily the northern border, which has similar problems, maybe not quite as widespread, but the problems remain?
Yeah, the northern border has always been kind of focused on terrorism and that counterterrorism effort. But because of what's happening and what we just talked about in the interdiction efforts at the southern border, well, guess what the cartels are doing? They're going to find their way to come into the country one way or the other. And that way is the northern border, which is really wide open. What helps us there is obviously the terrain and the weather in the winter. It's not the best conducive environment for them to smuggle their drugs and people, by the way, as well. But nevertheless, it doesn't keep them from trying. And so the focus to go on the northern border, I think, is a good one. There's not as much in volume, but there's still fentanyl being smuggled through those borders, illegal aliens coming through there as well. So there's an effort and a focus much needed as well, because we don't want it to become the southern border like the way we've seen in the last few years.
Victor Avila, great to have you. It seems like we've lost your picture, but we heard your audio, which is the most important thing. So we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks,
Victor.
All right, coming up, new significant breakthroughs in the fight against cancer. Some good news on the way. Details next on American Sunrise.